Hey, this is Misery Loves Company, a weekly social reading series hosted by miserytourism.com. I'm sicker than a motherfucker. So what's going on tonight is we're gonna have a guest host tonight. I am fighting off some terrible fucking virus. It's not COVID. It's not COVID. I'm vaccinated. Uh, anyway, but I'm fighting off a terrible virus. I can barely talk. I'm coughing up all kinds of terrible infectious matter. So tonight, Unity will be hosting, and I'm just going to be here in the background or whatever. Okay, I'm not. I'm done. I'm done. Unity, it's all yours. Let me know if you need anything.
Hey everyone. Thanks, Will. This is Unity. I'm here with my co host, Emilio. You can see his tail. He's filling in for Mr. Bones. Anyway, I'm really excited to be
Yeah,
here
Mr.
doing
Bones.
this.
Mr. Bones has been missed the last few weeks because he's staying with my roommate in Virginia. Emilio looks a little bit sleeker than Mr. Bones. He looks like maybe you have him maybe you're not feeding him a pound of turkey a week like I do, Mr. Bones.
Um, well, he's sleeker for now, but that's not through any act of will on his own part because all he does is literally like he's only here because I have this bag of treats and he's just following me for that purpose. Anyway, I think Misery Loves Company gets better every single week, so that means this one's going to be the best one ever. Anyway, without further ado, the first reader this week is going to be Ryan. Oh, and don't forget to mute your mics if you're not the person reading.
Hey, what's up and what's good? Oh, it says my internet's not that great, but hopefully it's good enough. I'm just gonna read something I wrote like it was like 3 weeks ago or so. It was for like a kind of a spontaneous like flash fiction thing where you had like 2 hours to write a story. So I don't really know like how good it is. The feedback I got was that like it was nice but kind of hard to understand. Um, it's kind of like Eris, Goddess of Discord fan fiction, which a lot of people seem to have been doing lately, but it's also kind of about how I've like been having trouble eating. I'm gonna link it just a second so people can follow along, but don't link it on Twitter or anything. Um 1 second. Blue, blue, blue. So people can follow along if they want. Okay. I'm going to start reading now. Okay. So this is called Black Sunflower. Sorry. A worm strings my guts. It threads through them like needle stitch, drawing what little I send my body from my body. I am skin and bone, my arms like spindles, and my thighs creased. I once had a mouth, but Gerard sew it shut. He will sew every gap shut in time. The seams then will be like my wrinkles, webbed across my face, my body, but I am not old enough yet for him to wall me off. Eris, he says, the weak eat the food of the body, and the strong eat the food of the spirit. When he says this, his eyes glint like cut diamond, but there's an ache behind them, as if could he starve for me, he would. Where the garden has become the desert, there is nothing left of it. Nothing but the leaves I have pressed into my pages since I was a child. When I was a child, I drank the sap of the trees. The trees were legion, the grass electric. The leaves parsed the sunlight like spears of honey. Now we live in a small hut of clay, the earth blistered and peeling, but Gerard says he has built our home strong, the way the insect encased in amber bears with its shell the weight of time. One morning I woke up, and the worm was in me, and my mouth was sewn shut. Gerard says there's nothing more for me to say. Every word, he says, messed up something he was doing. And, he says, the worm in your belly will eat what's wrong with you and leave the rest. I knew then that his nerves were screaming. Gerard, God had said, it is yours to die like a dog when I decree it. Holding Gerard's hand, I had looked up at him, and the look in his eyes had said, perfectly good child sacrifice right here. But Gerard says that God doesn't undo what has come to pass. for he'd never finish a Genesis that way. If he let himself do that, he would never stop getting started. I watched Gerard sleep and the lips of his mouth turn and moan. Spittle trickles down that sallow jaw, his thatch of hair parted by his beaked nose. I watch him, and the morning's glow burns against my back from where it spills in through the hut's threshold. The morning's glow burns, and I creep out across the sand. In the sun whose light bleeds into the white waves and phosphorence, glittering streaks of mercury race along my sight lines. My shadow is translucent felt, skined and tattered over the sand, defined more by the ridges and whorls than any substance itself. And I see, spiring from past the next dune, a single pillar, obsidian, lancing the air and in the morning sun like a testament to an age that treads ever closer to us with the heart of a beast. For there will not always be light like there is now. And yeah, though the light has bleached away my joy, still I fear I will miss it when they take it away. I unsling my pack, draw with trembling fingers my book of pressed leaves. I have not left the hut since the shadows fleeted away like ghosts to stand or die as God commands. Yet my sight is steady, my head held high as I have phrased it, arched back the way no crone can, the way Gerard's back would throw out. I see that pillar clear to the sky. I hear grunting behind me. Gerard is forcing himself over the sand. He braces himself with a stave, and his body heaves with each movement like he's about to collapse. You're supposed to eat yourself, he says in a hiss. That's the message. But of course I am tired of trying to say what I can't. I don't even incline my head towards him. I continue to stare up at the black pillar as it climbs the blood-red sky. You think that has something to do with him, Gerard says? Cackles. You'd think he'd make a tower of all things? I know how he thinks about you and me. He coughs. Spit mists the air and drizzles onto the white sand like droplets of ink. No, the dead earth shaped a tower in defiance of him, the way I wish I could. I'm seeing the sky fringed in red like the pit of fire has opened in the sky. Seeing red, the eyes of Gerard, they are bloodshot, haggard. Were I to open my book of pressed leaves, it wouldn't be that way, because I have kept the patterns, etched through strength of spine into memories, elegies, gifts from presents long ago that would rather not be nothing right now. All I have to do is thumb the pages, and I can lose myself from life for the instant it would take not to make a mistake. But he's saying now there will be more of us, a damn sight more, before the mists are through. The mimetics. Maybe you feel hopeless right now, knowing that'll all be on you, and the dead earth hates you too. I mean, when there's not enough to go around. I mean, he is one thing and there are two of us. I didn't ask to be born, but thank God it surely must be over. And so I leave him by the sand, on the sand. He will forever and always be on the sand or in it. I carry the book of pressed leaves with me, and I keep it with me even when I am not, as I was then. When I am a child, they say, Eris, you are skin and bones, but you are a lovely thing. Poor dear can't help being so silent. They say social skills never come to some. Those eyes so hungry for wonder, you'd know them anywhere. Like I saw them in a movie or read about them in a book. Okay, that's it. Thank you.
That was so good. Ryan, I always feel like you have access to these parallel dimensions and you're able to conjure these places that you imagine or that you have access to or that you're channeling so well. And it's like so I don't know, it's so dense and rich for how short it is, and the sentences are all really beautiful. And I love also I feel like I've always felt like this undercurrent of mysticism and things that I've heard from you, but I really like that element kind of took the forefront here. Like it felt like a story that came from a really old, like, you know how there's those like secret books from the Bible that are gone, that are lost, that like aliens made or whatever. Like it feels like it could be on some weird parchment that was lost long ago, like the Dead Sea Scrolls or whatever.
I was still reading and I actually consulted it for this. But that like when it was when because Will said Griffin, when they remixed the Bible, I'm still reading that, like kind of every once in a while I go through it. So like it's good that that vibe is like there. I was hoping it would be. Thank you so much. And it's chill to like open, so I don't have to follow anyone. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Ryan. Let's see here. Next on the list, well, is Jesse, who I don't think is here. Jesse, are you here? Going once, going twice. Sold to Sam is next. Sam, there he is. Okay,
yeah,
go ahead,
One
Sam.
second. Hang on.
Okay.
Okay, this is called The Foreigner's Guide to America. I read this before, but it was a long time ago and I was really drunk. And now I can read it more coherently. Okay. California. The Californian is much more attractive in physical appearance than the many other subgroups that populate this inbred yet diverse nation. One need not wonder why the majority of this state's citizens prefer to act out the achievements of their superiors rather than accomplish anything of note themselves. Their beauty makes their lives far too easy and prevents them from any true inner drive. Shallow, gullible, and liberal without any justification, the Californian mind moves from trend to trend, gluten-free diet to different type of gluten-free diet, anti-vaccination to anti-medicine, reaction to farther reaction. They will likely be promoting the holistic health benefits of injected fentanyl by the end of the decade. All achievements of Californian cinema can be attributed to a few lecherous Israelis recruited by the CIA in order to guide those ill-conceived films into something less embarrassing for the rest of America. Every year they gather, dressed in morally objectionable fashion wear, in order to congratulate themselves on solving world hunger, global warming, and every single problem in Africa via some stupid film made for IMAX that is identical to the previous year's effort. The ritual is complete after they present each other with the platonic ideal of seeming and not being, the Oscar. Good points, easy to lie to. Proper forms of address, they, them. Florida, much akin to Australia, except with far more mosquitoes. Florida is the land in which Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia banish those whom even they find to be too disfigured, similar to the Spartans of yore. Florida has been undergoing a slow but steady invasion of Cubans since its inception, much to the improvement of the state's English literacy SAT scores. They feed Hispanics to alligators and feed those alligators to native crocodiles, which are then consumed by the few African saltwater crocodiles of whom ice has yet to deport. Such is the cycle of life. More of a failed ecological experiment than sovereign body, they are currently running low on clean drinking water, despite being pelted with a lifetime supply every autumn. Many natives choose to remain in their reinforced, ground-level shacks during the hurricane season, much to the amusement of Yankee Northerners and the world in general. Best avoided at all costs outside of a few theme parks owned by former Nazis, such as Disney World and NASA. Good points, successfully faked the moon landing. Proper forms of address, rhesus, alligator, alligator gar. Nevada. The more civilized parts of this territory of Cain have managed to fall into the same decadence that characterizes those desert-dwelling demi-Jews, the Saudis, and has done so whilst producing nothing of any practical use. Nevada is highly insulated and appears to be run by a combination of Italian and Jewish mafiosos who have yet to get word from the North that it is now illegal to force Negroes to fight to the death, and that it has been so since at least 1954. All other capital is gained through usury, mainly from single mothers, drunken veterans, and the elderly. A land of sin, murder, and human trafficking, it is a highly prized destination for all Americans wishing to revel in their more base instincts before returning home shamefaced, debt-ridden, and riddled with potent strains of HIV. Good points. Prostitution is legal. Proper forms of address. Sir, wait, sir. Sorry, sir, I didn't mean nothing by it. New York City. By far America's worst smelling location. The average New Yorker is a waifish, flat affect, perpetually drunk buffoon that lives with 30-odd roommates, packed together like rats in a studio apartment, which is rent controlled at $700,000 per week. The rest of them wander the streets homeless, deriving nutrition from a cocktail of Mad Dog 2020, huffed sewer fumes, and fat scavenged off murdered Midwestern tourists. There is much difficulty in telling the affluent apart from the poverty-stricken in this modern-day Babel, as it has become fashionable among the wealthy to dress as if they shit in the street, which they probably still do anyway. Small shops called bodegas are a hallmark of its many street corners, and it is there that one can be served that quintessential New York City dish, rodent droppings, stir-fried and migrant vomit. A current haven for Semitic banking types, it is the birthplace of the Great Depression and every other ensuing financial crisis, local and global. The citizens of this wicked concrete jungle pay for the crimes of their ancestors with bitter winds in the colder seasons and the stench of rotting vagrants during warmer months. Occasionally, a hurricane will flood their capital city's decrepit underground train system. It helps to control the city's rat, homeless, and craft cocktail bartender populations. Good Points functions as a lightning rod for the rest of America in case of nuclear war. Proper forms of address, sewer sir, sewer madame. The South. Regarded as several individual sovereign bodies by those native to this treasonous little corner of America, the South is famous for slavery, fried chicken, and losing a war against a bunch of Yankee queers in a half-hearted attempt at defending their, quote, states' rights, unquote. They're rumored to practice barbaric forms of Christianity, whose rituals involve sexual intercourse with venomous reptiles, such as snakes, as well as stoning Negroes to death that can do basic arithmetic in order to gain their forbidden knowledge, and allowing pagan deities of unknown origin to possess their congregation in a sort of practiced mass hysteria. It should be noted that not one of these institutions is accredited by any Protestant or Catholic denomination of note. Good Points, cheap whiskey, proper forms of address, honey, y'all, sweetheart, bless your heart, do you have any oxy? Austin, Texas. America's secondary San Francisco resides in the great state of Texas and has approximately 0.004 more firearms per capita because of the state's lackadaisical attitudes towards gun regulation. The rate of firearm death remains constant, however. This fact, as well as the amount of Trump-supporting lesbian couples that populate this wilderness of idealism, perplexes our research team to this day. There is a yearly music festival held for industry types that has been overrun by Midwest hipsters that are not quite ambitious enough to move to California. This is likely due to the lack of overt racism on the West Coast, which tends to make those not from there homesick. Any and all who are interested in, quote, making it, unquote, in the music industry need not apply. Unlike Los Angeles, the mandatory sexual favors provided on part of the performer are unable to be repaid by the charlatans who masquerade as agents in this barbecue-tinged brothel. Good Points, hilarious headwear. Proper forms of address, best avoided. Massachusetts. Massachusetts was originally colonized by a group of dull English Puritans whose custom it was to marry their own daughters, but this group was later driven out by hordes of barbarian Irish who still hold claim over the land today. Though of Irish blood, the native tongue of their ancestry has since far degraded into a series of pejoratives, which are repeated ad nauseum. One must interpret this orientalized Irish, quote, language, unquote, purely by gut instinct, as true fluency can only be achieved when one has developed a physical dependence on prescription drugs, preferably by the age of 9. Despite the reputation of the locals, Massachusetts is nonetheless home to some of America's top-ranking universities, all of which prohibit the locals' admission. During the theater run of Good Will Hunting, the capital city of Boston rioted in order to have the film banned. This is because the movie portrays a Boston native as being capable of learning mathematics, a trait the locals closely associate with homosexuality. This is a great heresy to the Bostonian, who consider the practice sacred and only to be performed in one of the numerous Catholic churches that dot their cityscape like the freckles on their ugly children's faces. A cityscape which, thanks to America's far-sighted founding fathers, is laid out in such a labyrinthian manner so as to prevent the Bostonian from being able to leave, while those not from here may come and go as they wish. Good points, charming attempts at organized crime, proper forms of address, retard, faggot. Indiana. Imagine Nebraska without tornadoes. This is Indiana. Imagine Florida, with its mosquitoes, dull retirees and all, but minus the coast. This is also Indiana. Imagine a citizen from Alabama, but without that charming accent that makes hearing a racial slur such a delight to the ear. These, as well as 47 other comparisons that I will leave to the reader's imagination, are what exemplify America's least exceptional state, as well as its citizens. The locals refer to themselves as Hoosiers, but are far too inebriated on old-style lager to remember the origins of the term. Their banal conversations can make even the humblest Southerner appear quite cosmopolitan. They discuss the weather as a point of actual interest. They detest Hispanics, even more so than the Floridians or the Texans, due to their homeland's distance from Mexico, Cuba, and the like. The jingoistic nature of the Hoosier can be seen in their method for keeping out foreigners, which, elaborated below, is actually quite clever and was very successful up until recent times. No walls exist on their borders, despite what their recent voting record might tell you. In fact, the state is remarkably open. The meager amount of checkpoints present can be passed through for a paltry sum, and one can avoid those still by following the numerous 18-wheel vehicles that are given free passage at all time on Indiana's roads. Hoosiers consider these carbon-spewing monstrosities to be the reincarnation of their dead ancestors. It is theorized that outside of space for farming corn, the rest of the land is reserved for highway. It is prophesied by their priests that one day the entire region will be paved asphalt, hopefully sooner rather than later. Many drive through here between Ohio and Illinois, or between Kentucky and Michigan, or any combination of the four, without realizing that they passed through a, quote, place, unquote, at all. This did quite well for keeping out immigrants until the invention of the modern GPS, much to the Hoosiers' dismay. Still, precisely what culture they are trying to preserve remains a mystery to the rest of the nation. Once per year, they make pilgrimage to a motorcar race known as the Indianapolis 500. In this contest, motorists are forced to turn left until, one by one, they fall asleep at the wheel and crash their vehicle into the stands, typically killing hundreds of bystanders in a spectacular explosion. All cheer, as it is considered a great honor among Hoosiers to die in this manner, and the most violent of these wrecks are commemorated as religious holidays. The contest ends thus. After the penultimate death, the winner is declared and immediately rewarded with 3 trailer wives and 1 case of Pabst Blue Ribbon, which to them is considered a delicacy. Good points, easy to beat at basketball. Proper forms of address, Grand Wizard. Okay, that's it.
Woo! Yay!
Sam,
That was
please
so
tell me you've done all 50.
I haven't done all 50.
You got to do
You
all
have to,
50.
man. That's my favorite thing I've ever heard.
Oh my God. That is, oh my God.
I have to ask you something, Sam. Did you decide to read that tonight in a deliberate attempt to murder me? Were you like, I've seen online, Will is sick, Will is weak. If I can get him to fucking laugh enough, he's gonna cough blood out of his lungs.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
It wasn't intentional. I didn't mean to harm you.
So it will be, what do they call that? Reckless indifference?
Reckless indifference.
Comedy kills, man.
I think we should appoint Sam the official Misery Loves Company ethnographer.
Who is Osby Field?
That was my old Twitter handle. I wrote like anonymous
Nice.
stuff under it. Some of the stuff sucks, so don't look at it.
Oh shit! Should I have linked those or I tagged
Nah,
them?
it's all good.
Okay.
Yeah, I love that perspective. I love there's something about like the persistence of religious ritual into the most like mundane and ridiculous habits of people in America. Does that resonate?
I wrote it after when I was reading Herodotus's histories. He's just like walking around Greece and Persia talking shit about like what their religious cultures and rituals are and like what their histories are. And he's like, but they're wrong because I think that, and then he just states something that's totally incorrect. It's a fucking awesome book.
Well, I loved it. That was really great. Thank you, Sam.
Thank you.
Okay, I think next is supposed to be Adam Johnson, but I don't see him. I think people must have heard that I was doing this and decided to pull out at the last minute. But anyway.
No, Adam's wife is hosting a party, and he said that if he can find a closet to hide in, he'll be here. So he might be late, but we could cycle back to him maybe.
Okay, maybe we could cycle back to him. Okay, in that case, I guess I'll go next. Let's see if this link works.
Do you want me to link this?
No, don't put it on the Twitter. You mean?
Yeah.
No, don't put it anywhere because it's new.
Roger that.
Okay, this is called the Department of Notional Architecture. The Department of Notional Architecture was founded in response to a spate of terrorist acts targeting an apparently random cross-section of structures and institutions integral to the notional fabric of the multiverse. Collaboration between government agencies and independent entities, both corporate and discorporate, has proven paramount to the department's continued success. However, as is the case with all matters of government oversight and regulation, opposition to the department remains persistent and profound. Particularly fierce pockets of resistance have sprung up among traders in fictitious capital who had enjoyed, prior to the department's formation, near unbridled access to the fruits of all conjectural and speculative markets. Complex criminal networks have emerged, many of them linked to cartels thought to control distribution of the experimental hallucinogen known as daffodil. Tracing these networks' connections to established and emergent ideational futures firms is challenging, at times confounding work. Numerous factors preclude espionage. First, the amount of innate talent in precognition and other psychic abilities required to blend in at these firms is vast, severely limiting the pool of potential double agents. Most persons showing signs of any such ability are trained from youth by anti-government charter schools, further shrinking the field of available candidates. Second, the influence of the daffodil substance is highly unpredictable. While certain subjects tolerate the drug, others are driven mad by its prophetic and revelatory effects. Laboratory investigations into the drug's chemical composition have proved largely fruitless. Conspiracy theories abound. Contrary to accounts in the mainstream press, evidence of the drug's sentience has not been conclusively established. However, the department cannot rule out the possibility. Anyone having information about the daffodil substance is encouraged to contact department representatives at their earliest convenience. Finally, counter-espionage has proliferated. Accounts from journalists, themselves in the time pockets of corporate interests, have wildly overestimated the extent to which agents working for private architectural firms, time banks, and the ideational futures market have penetrated the department's upper ranks. Suffice it to say that wherever such problems exist, the department will find and correct them. Spies will be shown no mercy. They will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. In spite of these setbacks, the department has enjoyed tremendous success in curbing illegal acts of vigilantism and terror committed against the notional fabric. We maintain that there is no reasonable justification for private firms to develop or deploy their own counterterrorism measures. Moreover, it is illegal for them to do so, and for good reason. A dangerous new category of thought criminal has emerged as a direct result of these companies' cavalier experiments in private security, immensely powerful psychic madmen in the utter thrall of the daffodil substance. The department regards these so-called dream warriors as vigilantes and terrorists. To date, it has brought to justice 17 such highly dangerous criminals. Advanced interrogation techniques have yielded excellent results. That is, in cases where the daffodil substance had not utterly corroded the subject's brain. Thanks to advances in information extraction technology, we have been able to successfully root out corruption and anti-government activity in the highest echelons of the corporate world. We are proud of our results and will continue to work to secure our multiverse for the benefit of all. Universes must contract as well as expand. It is the government's position that, after eons of unchecked growth, the notional fabric is once again shrinking. As spokespersons for the Godhead, whose will is law, the government believes that the multiverse itself, in material fact, will soon follow suit. Time and space will begin, in effect, to reverse. Our message to the public is not to fear. Shrinkage of the physical multiverse does not of itself denote scarcity of our chief commodity, time. As long as our fine corporations continue to collaborate with the department and its sister agencies, there is no cause for concern. What follows is a previously unreleased eyewitness account of the first known terrorist attack against the notional fabric. Several bogus transcripts of the witness's account have been leaked to the press. Allow us to set the record straight. As had been previously reported, the witness was an employee of Carhartt Architects, Ltd. The build in question was rated by top investment firms as having a 99.996% chance of becoming actual. The man who dreamed the idea was a venture capitalist from Earth named F.R. Havana. Early plans for the idea's development had passed through multiple levels of Havana's organization. Given Havana's track record, as well as precognitive forecasts from the finest practitioners of the art, the progress of the development from idea to reality appeared all but certain. It was to be an open-air market combined with a luxury shopping mall, with Ottoman and Turkish architectural influences, as is the current fashion on Earth. It would cover a quarter of the surface of the planet's moon, a luxury haven for high-class vacationers. Several firms competed to create the perfect notional construction to implant into Havana's brain. The ideational futures market saw a frenzy of activity. Most of the bids clustered around the construction produced by Carhartt Architects, a fledgling firm which had yet to execute a build of equivalent scale. In spite of the firm's lack of experience, the influx of capital from ideational futures allowed the build to proceed smoothly and ahead of schedule. One day, towards the end of the build, one of the workers saw what he described as a deposit of some crystalline substance attached to the inside wall of the tea house his team was constructing. The worker's testimony is as follows. I saw the crystal flash and expand. It seemed to have an infinite number of surfaces, all of them glimmering, radiant almost. I saw things reflected in the surfaces, fragments of daydreams, visions I'd experienced, half-remembered glimpses of alternate timelines, childhoods adjacent to my own, choices I wished I'd made, friends and lovers I'd left behind. As I watched the crystal expand, the space around it began to warp. The walls, the floor, the very atmosphere became spherical, liquid, like a rapidly expanding bubble. Workers stood by, transfixed by the visions reflected in the crystal. I don't know how or why I thought to back up. It doesn't make sense looking back on it, but I did. I ran to the next room and watched from there. The bubble burst, and in its place was nothing. I don't know how else to describe it. All the workers who'd been standing there were just gone. Anyone who works in notional construction has to be adept at interdimensional travel, disapparition, transtemporal motion, that sort of thing. These skills are identified during early childhood and developed throughout adolescence. If the missing workers were removed to any known portion of the multiverse, I feel certain they could have found their way back. I know I could have. The only explanation is that they went somewhere else, somewhere outside our multiverse. Where that place might be, I couldn't say. The hole the bomb made in the notional construction was less than 12 meters in diameter, but it was enough to infect the idea and destroy the man behind it. F.R. Havana developed a rare form of brain cancer. He was dead within 6 months. His company languished in the hands of his less competent children and was eventually broken up by the banks on Earth. His idea never came to fruition in actual reality. Carhartt Architects, which had invested enormous capital into the build and its concomitant thought implantation, went bankrupt. This in turn caused a ripple of uncertainty to spread through the market. Ideational Future saw its worst crash in over 2,000 years. Many families lost precious reserves of time and have struggled to recoup these losses. Thankfully, the Department of Notional Architecture has implemented a series of safeguards and stopgap measures to prevent market instability going forward, even as we continue to pioneer bold, innovative counterterrorism solutions. Rumors in the press regarding holes in the notional fabric are not to be trusted. While it is true such holes exist in areas where terrorist attacks have occurred, the press exaggerates their number and misleads the public by trading in conspiracy theories and hearsay. Please be assured, the holes in the notional fabric are not expanding. There is no evidence of any entities coming through them, be they alive, dead, or otherwise. The notional fabric is not haunted. With continued cooperation from corporations, financial institutions, and the public, the Department of Notional Architecture forecasts a bright future for us all.
So I know
Wow.
you're not in a position to give feedback on your own work. So I do want to say something. I'm not going to say too much because I can barely fucking talk. But this is phenomenal. This is this is world building on the linguistic scale, which is fucking beautiful. Like, so much world building is so anchored in the concrete reality of the world being built, right? And that's cool. That's good. There's a lot of great world building out there, but it's so rare to see world building that actually happens on the pure conceptual fucking level like this. I don't know. It's fucking brilliant. It's brilliant. I'm not gonna say anymore because I'm gonna start spitting up shit.
Thanks.
Yeah, that was fucking amazing. I just wanted to say that scene it starts I saw the crystal flash and expand, like my mind is just like going crazy over that whole section. I'm just like, it's like my mind's eye is my VCR in my head is like recording over my mediocre viewing experience of Annihilation and replacing it with that because that's just like everything like I want in like that type of science fiction, that type of that type of descriptive shit that description is just so good. That's basically what I'm trying to say. Excellent.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I like the I like the lead up to the crystal. That was interesting. But once you hit the crystal, it shifted into there was such, for me, there was such like an intense transition. I just got pulled in. Instead of listening to you, I got pulled into it, for what that's worth. Right? Incredible. Fucking incredible.
Thanks, Blick. That whole scene happened in a dream, if you can imagine.
Yeah, I mean, it feels very dreamlike and very unreal, but at the same time, vividly described.
That's
Okay.
funny because Rudy, you've got some dream. You're gonna read. Fuck, I can't talk. You're gonna read some shit about dreams later, right? Sorry, Unity, it's all yours. I shouldn't even try to interject. I'm so sorry.
Okay. I'm seeing Jesse Hilson here. Is Jesse here now? Do you still want to read, Jesse?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm really sorry I'm late. My family had a problem with their furnace not working, and it's 40 degrees here. So anyway, that's neither here nor there. But I feel bad that I wasn't here for the first hour of this. I could read something. I wanted to read another short excerpt from the Bruce Wagner novel that I read from last week. This excerpt is a little more spicy than that one was. It's about a character named Joan Gamma, who is known as the Fat Joan. And this was one of the things that caused his publisher to have serious reservations about publishing the book, because he said you couldn't have a character call themselves fat. In 2015, right after her family was slaughtered in the house on Holmby Hills, Joan started gaining. She really stepped up her game in the last 2 years when she turned 16, inhaling 8,000 calories a day and hardly moving from her bed. She remembered the random day she locked in on the TV show My 600-Pound Life, astonished by the longing it aroused. She fell in love with the marooned draperies of flesh and the angsty, lachrymose, baby-faced divas as they perched daintily, coyly, sadly, codependently, apologetically upon the smear-stained, sheetless lily pads of mattresses thrown haphazardly into living rooms, bedrooms, U-Haul vans. Mattresses were the indispensable accoutrement of the colossal-sized life. Nearly 400 pounds herself now, Joan was transfixed by the slim, careful enablers, usually family members, their own children, as they administered sponge baths, patiently exploring the blurry, viewer-censored folds guarding undiscovered decubiti and skin-stamped filth. One boy, always boys and girls to Joan, no matter their age, was almost half a ton. His legs, as if drawn from an illustrated fairy tale book, had grown fungus-lichen. He looked like a pasty, demolished centaur and was breathtakingly beautiful to her. She religiously aspired to such transformations. Joan hadn't weighed herself in over a year, not since her birthday in December. She and Billie Eilish both turned 18 on the 18th, when 1.7 billion of the Gamma family trust irrevocably became hers. Now she felt the threshold of 500 pounds coming, a quarter ton, like a rolling orgasm, floating above a high hill on her magic carpet mattress. Catching labored breath, she finally caught sight of the distant, welcoming kitchen lights and chimney smoke of home. She knew she would arrive by summer. And I think that's where I'll stop. It's a short excerpt, but anyway, that's the book. And that's all I have.
Thanks for sharing that, Jesse. That was great.
Thank you.
You know, I love Bruce Wagner, and I'm so happy that you introduced him to me. I still only read Dead Stars, but I would really recommend anybody read that. It's so good. And also, that movie Maps to the Stars. I love that movie. I watch it like probably once a year. It's just, I don't know why. It's so good. And he also wrote the script for Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors, I think, which
That's
I think
right.
he renounced. Like he didn't like it, but
I don't know if
it's
he
actually really
renounced it, but he, that is true. He wrote that script. It was based on an earlier script, which was much more crazy than that one was, apparently.
Yeah, I bet.
But yeah, Maps to the Stars, I love that movie. It's sort of polarizing, and I think there's a lot of people who don't like it. But Cronenberg and Bruce Wagner is a good combo, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think they did. It was really good. They did really good together.
Yep.
Anyway, I want to read that book.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks for sharing, Jesse. Let's see here. Okay, next on the docket, Let me make sure. Did Adam ever come? No, he's still not here, right? In that case,
Adam
please.
sent me a message. Sorry. Adam sent me a message on Twitter saying that his hiding place had been discovered by his wife's guests and that he's been hauled back to the party, so he won't be joining us tonight. He told me to pencil him in for next week.
That's too funny. I just imagine him like in the closet behind like a stylos or books or something. And everyone at the party going, "Where's Adam?" Okay, well, in that case, next up is going to be Gabriel Hart.
Do you have the links? I can't find them. Let's see.
I got them. I'll put them in the chat. Just a second. They should both be in the chat now.
All right, cool. Thanks. So here's a couple that were published by Thin Slice of Anxiety. It's kind of a new, semi-new site, hosted by Cody Sexton is his name, I believe. This one's called "When I Wish for Solitude, I Didn't Mean Like This."
No, Gabe, I noticed there's an audio link in this one. Were you going to share for that, or?
Oh wait, for which one? I'm doing the Thin Slice of Anxiety first.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, Rudy, you can just drop both of those links in the same tweet.
Gotcha. Okay.
Anything published, we just tweeted out. It's only the doc files that we have to worry about whether we're going to share them or not, because they might be.
I was actually wondering if he was going to share his screen for that one, and have a screen share for that.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if. But yeah, okay. I will tweet both these links out. But
I don't even know how to share a screen.
See, it's the green button. If you need help when you get to that one, let me know.
Okay. Let's see. I'll actually do. Yeah. Okay. So I'm doing Thin Slice of Anxiety there. This was published earlier this month. It's called "When I Wish for Solitude, I Didn't Mean Like This." In my kitchen, a table for two, yet one chair long since been removed, leaving me to say this insular grace to the vast black widow's web that's taken its place. Now we sit, we wait, convinced our refusal to move will somehow tempt fate, relying on an accidental wander into our gate. Salivate at the thought of whom or what we might get. While I'm not the greatest catch, I make their effort finessed, since the day I hopelessly tangled myself in my own net. This is called The Other Men. Night fell on the date. I had to meet the other man. Him and I, trapped, no escape. Those strangers came, paid admission. Him and I, happy to take. Yet it was he who first offered his hand, the first to admit he knew my name. The only fist I'd make would be my tight, sincere grip, our fingers clasped, 2 links in a chain. We sat, talked, easygoing like real, actual men, trading more stories of mutual duress, everything in fact but the woman in common. Wide eye contact, we would not digress. But the thing about presence, it quickly becomes the past, as 2 other men we knew flew in on cocaine, shattering the delicate window made of our thin nerve glass. They pointed like they saw a miracle in us. It almost was until they came. You 2 are like war buddies now, that crazy bitch, the Vietnam. And the thing about crazy is that those who weaponize the word, like these guys, licking their lips, talking in riddles, are like slow burning lobotomies. The real crazy ones are self-administered. But since to the other man, I'm also the other one. We looked at each other smirking, our moment gone. Though I wanted to jump out of my skin, leave behind my empty vessel hide in honor of him and all the other perfectly crazy women to come. And This one was just published today at Sledgehammer Lit. It's really, really cool, kind of semi-new poetry site from the UK. It's called The Trade. And yeah, if anyone's looking at this on your phone, it won't make sense because I kind of messed with the form. So it's supposed to be in 2 columns. So hopefully everyone's looking at this on their computer or laptop. The Trade. When I feel I am far damn too whole, I'm reminded I am far down 2 holes. The bottle I trade, one ecstatic night for 3 days rife with existential doubt, trapped in my body, the wasteland, my spirit, the fumes of a breathing corpse. The woman I trade, one ecstatic night for the rest of my life, my body, soul, and mind, the quicksand. Now for her I worry, instead of for myself, of course. And that's it.
Thanks, Cave. Those were beautiful. I love the like kind of apocalyptic ecstatic imagery. And also, you know what I liked about the first one too, is there's like this, like poems aren't supposed to rhyme these days, I've heard. And I love that you use rhyme. It reminds me of like how when Wordsworth and Coleridge published lyrical ballads in this kind of like sing-song voice with rhymes at the ends of every line, it was like considered scandalous. But
yeah,
I really
I can't stop rhyming. It's just because I've been writing songs for so long. It's like I try to stray from it, and it just snaps me right back. So I'm trying to kind of own it a little bit, I guess, as I get more into poetry. Proper.
Yeah, can I ask you something? Because I mean, I write like old poems, like prose poems, whatever the fuck, but I don't understand. Every poetry person I know is like so down on rhyming. You know, if it's not free verse, why is that? Why? I mean, there's so many places don't even want any rhyming.
It's probably the beats probably like blew that out of the water, right? Is that kind of where it started? The like anti-rhyme thing?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. Like,
wait a minute. Whitman wasn't rhyming, right? Did Whitman rhyme?
Free verse, I think, pretty much starts with Whitman, at least.
Yeah,
yeah. With Song of Myself. I think.
Yeah.
But at what moment? And then like you have Dickinson with like slant rhyme, where it's like the rhyme isn't quite there, and the rhyme is like intentionally avoided or eluded or whatever. But I don't know, like when it became like a faux pas to rhyme. I honestly think that like part of it might be, and I'm gonna talk until I can't talk no more because it's a sickness with me. But it's the more powerful sickness. That's the problem. But I do think that like there's a real aversion to like the appearance of artifice in literature, even when the artifice adds beauty, even when the artifice adds something of value. And rhyme draws attention. Rhyme is an artifice, right? It draws attention to the artificiality of literature. And I think some people don't want to see that. They don't want to be consciously made to think about the fact that they're reading a poem and not something that's just like truth ejaculated on a page, which is a thing that doesn't exist, you know? Okay.
Yeah, probably like the ongoing commercialization of like pop music too just made it kind of really repellent, and like, you know, what poets probably wanted to really draw that line in the sand, which I totally agree with. But I've just been writing songs for so long that it just
a songwriter won the Nobel for literature, right?
I know, and I was furious about that.
Yeah, me too.
I thought that I was
me fucking too.
I wrote an angry essay about that. I was so fucking.
You're talking about Bob Dylan, right?
I was gonna say, is that Dylan?
Yeah. Wait.
Yeah.
Oh my God, my voice is back, guys. I gotta fight with you.
Oh my God.
You guys were angry about Bob Dylan getting the Nobel Prize for literature?
Yes.
I was totally.
Yes. Yes.
Bob, I'm gonna say this. Bob Dylan is probably one of the most deserving recipients of the Nobel Prize for Literature in the last fucking 50 years.
He would have been. It was like the wrong.
A massive cultural impact and has real literary value, right? Okay, I'm sorry.
Have you ever read? Has anyone ever read Tarantula? Is the actual book he wrote in the?
I've heard his book is terrible.
It's so bad. It's so bad.
He was awarded it for his lyricism, right? Not
no, I know. It seems such like a Swedish move to make. You know what I mean? Like we're like they're so obsessed with American culture that it's just like the most arbitrary thing. Like, what about Bob Dylan? You know what I mean? Just, the timing of it just seemed completely arbitrary. Like you know, I mean, I hate to measure people's relevance, but like it would have been more appropriate to do that back then, you know, or in the 70s, or like when like Desire came out or something. It just it made me hit the roof when that happened.
I heard, wasn't there something, didn't he like reject the prize or something, or wasn't there something where he was going to reject the prize?
He fucking snubbed them because so part of the requirement of the Nobel Prize is you have to go and give a lecture over there to the Nobel fucking committee or whatever. They've like so you have to go and accept the prize and give like a lecture. And he was like, fuck you. And that's tremendous. Who but Bob Dylan can say fuck you to the Nobel Committee, right?
Yeah,
I think he ultimately ended up doing it though, but all right. Sorry, Unity. I'm done. I'm gonna die.
That's okay. You made my job easier. I don't have thoughts. I don't really have thoughts on that. I always wanted Samuel Delany to win the Nobel Prize.
Yeah, so much better, so much more appropriate.
But I'm not
long overdue, you know.
I'm very not versed in like world literature, like at all. I've never even heard of any of the people who win the Nobel Prize.
I would have preferred if it was someone I had never heard of than Bob Dylan. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Bob Dylan's fine, but I don't know. I'm just tired. I'm just tired. Tired of the dinosaurs. You know.
What about Leonard Cohen? He seems like he made more of a contribution to literature.
I mean, he wrote books.
A lot of books, beautiful poetry books, and
he wrote Beautiful Losers is like one of my favorite things ever. But that makes way more sense. You know,
he was a great writer. His novel, Beautiful Loser, is like.
Yeah,
it's one of the greatest I've ever read.
Agreed.
Okay. Well, that was exciting. Let's see here.
We had to bury Dylan.
Adam Johnson is down for the count, which means we have now come to Misery Tourism's very own Rudy Johnson. That's right.
Yes, sir. Oh, excuse me, I'm coughing up something here. So I've got some prose poetry to read, and I'll link it in the thing here. So, Google doesn't want to let me Okay, well, anyway, here's the link. So before I read it, I just wanted to note that this was actually created with a process from the Creative Process Jam that Misery Tourism is running on itch.io. And I can link to that later on. But basically, it's this game jam in quotation marks. It's kind of a game jam. I guess it's more like something else. But basically, you create these processes that help you do creative work, like like essentially a routine, a step-by-step documentation of a routine that helps you create like a poem or like a piece of writing, or one person did like something that helps them create some music. So this is it's called the Playful Creative Process Jam. But I used one of the processes that I think it was Mix Walker had submitted. And the process they submitted was basically about making things that have dream logic in them. And so I made 2 prose poems, I guess that's what they are, that have some kind of dream logic to them. So that's that. Alrighty. Excuse me. So the first one is called Space Quest 7. Fuck you, Wilco, I say, vomiting disdain. If I ever find a gun, I'll blow your fucking skull apart. Found it yet? Blonde himbo janitor sure has a mouth on him. Did he ever talk in the games? Maybe this is the snarky, ever-present narrator shitting on me, like always. Maybe I have, faggot, I say, removing a piece of cold brown metal that looks like a flattened metronome you can hold in your hand. Memories of flying through Afghanistan mixed with scenes of loop-de-loops, and the apostrophe is there because Afghanistan is old Montreal now, somehow, as I finger the circular depression like a pussy, trying to get it to go off, I guess. I remember too late that 1, this wand only makes me levitate. 2, this wand is faulty. And 3, I'm the fucking pussy. Bang, I articulate. Obama. He's got me in a trap, Wilco. A trap house, maybe. And as I walk from room to room, I experience emotional narrow misses and near hits. There is a family living here. This place could use a custodian's touch, definitely. Micro debris is everywhere in the air, but it doesn't provoke my allergies. The spiders that bite me in the basement laugh and narrator. Second piece is called Large Number 2. I used to wish I had your hair when I was a kid. I, something resembling a grown man, say to the blonde teenage girl in front of me. There's a locker behind us, and Mr. Feld is emerging from it through a secret passage. I'm aware of this, even though I don't see it happening. In the 90s, I shook his hand at a campaign-related event, knew his daughter. Now he's headed to a class for former and current mayors of Malone, New York. You should go to Burger King, she says. I don't oblige. I'm at Alice's house, my childhood home on Woodward Street. I peer out from Sky Bridge on the second floor that overlooks Davis School. Not sure where Mr. Stormer built this addition, but he's always building shit. She's still there. You should go to Burger King and get a number 1. I ride the subway to school and it docks underneath in the caverns. They power the subway with their presence, which is electric here, even though I can't see anybody. Maybe it's coming from her? You should get a Whopper Jr. and 2 orders of $1 fries off the dollar menu, Rudy. Hearing my own name induces chills and bathroom feeling. I clutch the brown metallic thing. And we, the girl and all the power players I can't see, fly off the train and up the crumbling staircase that leads into the high school that's both architecturally brutal and just brutal to autistic dummies like me. Coming in with a lot of energy today. I hope the North Korean general who teaches home economics puts a star on my homework. A hand is on my shoulder, so I turn around. Girl looks like she's miming upsetness, like I used to do under cover of darkness, under covers pulled over my head, so that I could pretend they were long tendrils of blonde hair. Pretend emotions, pretend scenarios, dead dogs, dead grandparents, dead parents, comforting people I met once or twice in the backyard, in the church, in the funeral or wake, in a blonde wig. Rudy, fragrant trails. You should go to Burger King and get a bacon double cheeseburger with no pickles and zesty sauce. They'll put the sauce on if you ask them to. You can have it your way. Have we, the Royal, exported Burger King to this hilly, helly countryside yet? I wonder this silently as I make my way past the church where Frankenstein's monster made a pass at me, past the underpass, and show my pass to the friendly burqa-clad crossing guard. Afghanistan is très moderne, or whatever the Frenchies say. Is this goat crossing way or Rue Martineau? I want to go to McDonald's, though, I mumble weakly. I speed up suddenly and my stomach is turned upside down. At this velocity, even one of Obama Botnick's drones could catch up with me. Couldn't catch up with me. I insta-shield through thoughts of swerving into a tree. Are there trees in this new Middle East? Provoked by my increasing momentum. When I come out of the loop, the girl is on the sign that I dash by to finish the level. You actually want to go to Burger King and order a large number 2 with a strawberry shake. The board disintegrates into a city containing too many parked cars and steep inclines. Lights from an arcade glare at me. I glare back because there are people inside having fun and some look like my friends. Are you gay or straight? I say to her and others. I'm dodging traps constantly here in these narrow corridors. Constant menace. I'm angry because she hasn't responded by the time the spiders that dwell at rock bottom start tearing into my sensitive bits. Suddenly, she's holding a camera. She's snapping a picture. She's handing over a Polaroid of me and her at my local Burger King. You should go to Burger King, order a number 5, and pay. I cut her off as the rock bottom tree associates into, well, just rocks. Now I'm standing on slabs of concrete that look like something I could skate on, or you, since there's no way a 250-pound nigger is getting on a skateboard. I don't want to hear any more about Obi-Wan. She cuts me off, and her hair is shimmering with light and water reflections from the nearby school fountain. It's only later on, when I'm alone in my kitchen doing homework, that I think about what she said. I make a few connections in my brain that quickly fizzle out. Am I supposed to be Anakin, his personified rage, or the fuzzy quantum mechanics in his lightsaber? There's nothing in the fridge that I want to eat. Maybe I will go to Burger King. That's it.
Those are so awesome. You know that thing that happens when you have a crazy dream and like you have a really crazy dream and you wake up and you're like, man, that was so crazy. And then you go to explain it to somebody and you're like, I had this crazy dream. And they're like, what happened? And you're like, oh, well, I was in this place. And you like, can't like, it doesn't sound weird or crazy at all. But this is like the exact opposite of that. It like completely captures what is weird about things in dreams that don't like, that seem weird when they're happening, but then you can't describe them later. Somehow it like, it figures out that puzzle.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The dream of dream logic thing. Yeah. I know what you mean. And this, like when I saw that, this process that, which is linked in the document that this person came up with, I just said, damn, like that's exactly how, and I told her this on Twitter. It's like, basically this is exactly how I have dreams and how my dreams work. The way like, like conversations that you're having will flow into like the next part of the environment, the dream environment. And then it kind of twists when like another conversation starts. It's a really brilliant process actually. And if you guys get a chance, you should take a look at it because it really captures, at least for me, like how I have dreams.
Rudy, this is Blick. I just want to say something, man. I was laughing so hard, I was crying. I mean, literally, tears are moist. Yeah, and that was that. I tell you something. Yeah, Burger King. You ought to get some sort of branding on that. That anybody who hears that, McDonald's, one of those other ones would pay you for that.
Yeah.
Get that out. It's fucking brilliant. It leads up. I mean, it's so amazing. You pull me in and I get led into this thing and it all comes back to fucking Burger King, And even though it's like a Greek chorus, they're using like a Greek chorus, the intervals in between pull me in so much I forget that the downbeat is gonna be Burger King. And every time it slaps me like that, I lose it. I don't know the timing. Okay, that's enough. I'm still laughing. All right, I gotta take a drink, man. Unfucking believable, Rudy. Unbelievable.
Rudy, I want to say like just really quick. First of all, this is tremendous. I fucking love this. I love both of these, but especially the second one. But the thing that struck me while you were reading the second one is this may be like the most like intimate and personal thing you've
It's a
ever
very
written.
personal story.
Yeah, like all of the shit that you write is tremendous. It's creative, but it's you, right? But it's very much you in the way that like any work that's crafted by the
Right.
creator is a function of them, right? But it's still it exists distinctly outside. This is you, man. That piece is like so fucking you. And I think that's what makes the dream shit work even more, is that like it really feels like not only a trip into somebody's subconscious, but a trip into yours, you know?
Cool. Thanks. Yeah. But once again, take a look at that process that Nick Serobis, I'm mispronouncing it, but it is really, really good, and I think everybody should try it out because it's fun shit. I owe everything to that process, basically.
I want to go to Burger King now.
No, go to McDonald's. That's my court. We go there and eat until you get sick. McDonald's.
Yeah, but those like the crispy chicken sandwich at Burger King is really good. It's like the piece of chicken is like so big on there.
I will give you the chicken's better.
Okay, well, that wraps it up for the scheduled readers, which means it is now time for drum roll. I'm just gonna start picking people. Just kidding. Whoever wants to go. Who wants to go? Who's got something? I know you guys got something.
I think Kiko had said that he had something to read during the open mic. He's the only one.
Yeah, Kiko's got something. Go, Kiko.
Hi. Unfortunately, that's me. So the usual disclaimer, I'm really sorry for my broken English. So I'll just link this and you can keep track there. And I'll try to use a different mic, and you'll tell me if that's better. So give me a minute or less. Do you hear me better now? Perhaps?
Yeah, I think you sound good. At first there was like some reverb, but I think it maybe is gone now.
Okay, great. So this is better. Good. So as you can see, if you open the link, I'll be reading 3 poems. The first one is kind of bounded by the locals, so it might not be so interesting for you, but let's give it a go. So the first one is called Misunderstood Marshal. You jailed tribes to free people to live, where the poor can be fat and the beggar blonde. You had a dog. The German shepherd turned into poodles and brought a capitalism of stories, characters, tongues. As a boy you grew into a man, grew out of your village, your city, your country. People had to migrate. You to foreign land, far enough, and now everyone can see you as you truly are. And The second one is also kind of bounded by the local, but it's a bit more insidious, so it might be of some interest to the global. So the second one is called Post-War Poem Underlined by an Endangered Part of My Identity. For them. At school, something happened. Tangible excitement, as our teacher would say, gathering around the little black box. It has a screen. Is it a game? I'll show you what it is. During class, she chuckles proudly, pushing the buttons, and voila, the other girl's pencil box, chirping and vibrating. She too has the game. The box, device, phone, console. It's a mobile phone. Our teacher, old and sweaty and upset. Tomorrow, 3 boys turn on the girls' devices, and each other's and the girls' theirs. Next week, 6 more boxes. It is a mobile phone. Our teacher, old and bold, just distraught. After school is the worst. Everybody's chirping and vibrating, hopping, jumping, giggling around. My emphatic grim grin sent out as an explorer of this exciting new console. It's called a mobile. It's a phone. The same as in your home, just movable, mobile. Yeah, I get that. I just don't get the game. As they keep giving calls, as they keep getting calls, I stray from the playground. The dumb grim grin dimming into contemplation. I'm the only atheist in my generation. And the third one, well, the third one is called remote work. I get up, a peak of the day descending into this position. Hi, hello, sorry to thanks. No problem. Most meetings don't require a camera. Most times I can mute myself and cry, but I just sigh, record the calls and scroll through filtered profiles with filtered jobs. I'm not young nor pretty, enough to get out of this. Chair, I sigh again, sorry. Could you repeat the question? Ossifying. This is my 15 seconds of shame repeated couple of times in a couple-hour meeting, muted back to not being pretty nor young enough, but I do have several traumas, but I don't know how to brand them. I have fewer friends, so my intestines chip in, taking me out to a colonoscopy, gastroscopy, exciting new places. Though next morning just feels worse. Organs are bullies, an awful lot. Thus back to the chair, ossifying, blocking them all, scrolling through society like an old man hating everyone, just wanting to be hated back. Rituals sought to be married, to formalize their boredom. Oh, how I do look forward to spending my night with them while boss is turning the last chapter of the last meeting into a stand-up before his muted, private, ossifying audience. Green glow of paying humor, seconded and haloed by his son's screams. I think about blaming my parents, how they hushed me to the ground. Bye, goodbye, sure, by tomorrow. Alas, couch. Bones crackle like parquet. I feel my pulse, then faint, only to find the flat ossified into me. But I have another endoscopy in an hour. I get out, but can't get rid of the flat on my back. The shell, my new organ, trembles as I walk through the street, and people avoid me, not to get hit by bricks, so I crawl to stop the earthquake. In the middle of the street, with a flat on his back, a snail won't make it to the appointment. Dilapidated, he's dying a death of a building, interrupted by cyclists nagging ring rings.
Wow, that last one was so good. It was so good.
Thanks.
I love how it kind of starts in
Wow.
this, like, sort of dissecting like the horror of just the ordinary, and then it just goes somewhere. I was so not expecting where it was gonna go. It just, I'm still kind of processing it.
Great.
Let me
Um,
just say, I can't say much, but that final line on that second poem, the fucking "I'm the only atheist in my generation," is so tremendous because it's so unexpected and so fucking perfect. That sorry, I can't say anymore. I'm sorry.
Liam, that's exactly what I was gonna. That was exactly the line I was gonna bring up. So I'm sorry you got a gag to say it, but you said it good. Yeah, you said it well. Beautiful, beautiful.
Kiko, where are you from?
I'm from Croatia. It's in Europe. It's ex Yugoslavia, if you know about that. It's a part of ex Yugoslavia. So the first one is about, actually it's about this dude that's on the painting, on the picture. It's about Marshal Tito.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's why I said that you probably won't enjoy it so much. But yeah, Croatia, it borders with Italy, so it's, if you can get a sense of where it should be.
There's a great literary organization out of Croatia, Zindali. It's called Zindali. It's an international journal that originates, and Anna, I know it by Anna, not her last name, but it's one of the best. It's one of the best cultural sites. I take around. You must know about it, right? Zindali.
Sorry, I don't. But perhaps I'm just ill-informed or something.
Well, you know what? You should check it out. They love somebody of your talent on there. That'd be great.
Zin is an acronym of 3 words, and I only know the first one is Zvona, which I think is bells. It
bells.
bells and pomegranates.
Bells and pomegranates, and but under the umbrella of Zindali, that all appears.
Thanks. I've heard of that. I know it's a Croatian magazine. But
it's international. It's international. It's fucking great. Your stuff would be great in there, man. Wow.
Yeah, thanks. I've never submitted there, but I'll think about it. Thanks. It's yeah. It's actually a long story. I'm trying not to submit to any of the local places, but it's a really long story. Perhaps after this, after the recorded part, we can talk about it a bit. If you're interested.
All right, but that's what this is international. It's an international.
Yeah, I mean, I know, but it's still Croatian.
But it still comes from there, right? Gotcha. I
have some issues with the local industry.
Yeah, everything piggybacks. I gotcha.
Kiko, I know at least one outlet that wants to see this in print.
Okay. Well,
check out
thanks,
the chat, man.
Yeah, I'll look at the chat. Okay. Okay.
Okay, who's next? None of us are leaving until somebody reads. Oh, come on.
Get in here.
I see your little faces in there.
You should peer pressure somebody. Peer pressure always works.
Okay. Michael Myers, I'm looking at you. Does nobody really have anything else? That can't be.
I've got a poem I could read. I don't have a link for it. This poem was just accepted by DFL Lit. Oh, Keith, you want to go?
Oh no, go ahead.
Okay. This poem was just accepted by DFL Lit, which is a brand new publication. It's called Heist. Figure out the best way to talk to me. I've got a Beretta in your back. We pulled off the heist together, yes, but now this is the heist within the heist. My share of the bullion in a chest in the back of my F-150. Or I press this button and a cloud of tiger moths will burst from your favorite henchman's chest. No matter where you go or how you fortify your life's crawl spaces, someone will always be watching, holding each animal of the Chinese zodiac hostage in turn, just waiting for my word. When you come to the meet at the abandoned quarry, come alone. Otherwise, I'll vanish and I'll rob from you all your stored up facial recognition so that after you die in gunfire, upon entering the promised land, you'll wonder who the gathered platform crowd is waiting to embrace. That's it.
Woo! Beautiful, Jesse. I love that line, the heist within the heist.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's such a good line.
Who's next? Keith?
Okay. I've got a short piece of nonsense here that I put together yesterday that I'll read. It's titled Head Bang, capitalized bang with exclamation point, features AGAR. Sounds in his head, tasty, sweet, satisfying. Armies marching, thousands of legs crawling, creeping. Rain melting into mud, flowing downhill, scouring life away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Repeat 3 times. Breezes swirling in his head, cooling, disturbing, engaging. Thundering roars overhead. 1, 2, 3, 4. Repeat 3 times. Silence. Hold me, he pleads into the void. Don't let go. Fight. Don't let go. I'm way too young to lie here forever. I'm way too old to try. So whatever, come hang. Let's go out with a bang. It's been a hell of a ride, but I'm thinking it's time to go. Bang, bang, bang. Here we go. So put your best face on, everybody. Pretend you know this song, everybody. Come hang. Let's go out with a bang. Bang, bang, bang. And now he's really feeling good. So good. Thank you all for coming.
Woo! That was really good. That was like, it was really harrowing.
Fuck yeah, I love the use of repetition there, the bang, 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 and the counting and all that. That's so good.
Well, thank you. That the backstory to that was that I was sitting under the magnolia tree on a breezy fall day. I was eating an apple, listening to a playlist including Seven Nation Army, Take Me to Church, Unsteady, Bang, Hand Clap. A millipede was crawling on the ground, but it wasn't raining. So I wrote a short poem, Head Bang. And that's the origin. Thank you.
Thank you, Keith. It's very interesting to also see those words coming out of Michael Myers' face.
Well,
I didn't know Michael Myers had such a way with words.
Well, this week, Keith is not Michael. Last week when he was Michael, it scared everybody off.
Uh-oh.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? What about Gigi or Brandon? What about
guys?
Come on, you apes. You want to live forever?
You can definitely peer pressure Gigi into reading. I do it every week.
Okay. Just do it. Here we go, everyone. It's Gigi Rowland. Woo! Make some noise.
These are going to come out on Expat in a couple weeks, I think. God, these are like sad though. I don't want to read these. Fuck. All right. This one's called Your Young Culture. Hardware is flexible. Some software could almost be called a hacking. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it is a hacking. This is also hacked. The pile mushes into the other pile. These piles are rearranged, resprayed, remolded into the other thing. Maybe unrecognizable, but beautiful this time. Spun around, well lit, nearly giving off light, lovely on all sides, from all possible angles, all possible positions. This one's called Elbow Lick. Every woman who has touched my belly button with theirs has expressed joking frustration at the texture of my skin. I'm too soft overall physically, bubblegum stretched over some bones. Instead of connections, these joints always hurt. I wake up to spend the rest of the day slowly collapsing. Ligaments soft, head sagged like the couch cushion farted into for at least 2 generations. Ideally, I could live my life as a signpost, something sturdy. I'm not gonna, the other one's just, yeah, that's all I got. The other one sucks.
Woo! I love that line, bubblegum stretched over whatever. You're right, it is sad, but look where we are, man. Misery loves company. This is for the home. This is the home of human suffering. This is where we come.
That was bubblegum. That was bubblegum stretched over bone. All right, just make that clear.
I felt that line. I physically felt that line. I lived that line every day.
Let me say something, man. Bubblegum's delicious, okay? So don't ever let anyone tell you that you're less of a human being for having skin that's like bubblegum on your bones. Okay, everybody. Who's next? Doesn't anybody have anything? I can't make William read because he'll end up coughing and dying. I don't want to kill anybody.
I have nothing to read, and even if I did, this is the last fucking week I would do it. Oh no, it's a mutiny. It's a planned assassination.
Coup attempt.
Is that really just going to be it, you guys? It seems like okay.
I don't see anyone who can be peer pressured left in the chat, honestly. I think we're pretty much everyone here has read or can't be made to read is my assessment of the situation.
Who the fuck is this 13 motherfucker? Maybe they should read.
Yeah, who's this 13 motherfucker? Who's this 13 motherfucker who just appeared like 4 weeks ago as a fully sprung human being? Where did they come from?
That is perplexing, isn't it? That's one of those great mysteries.
I mean, honestly, I caught wind of Unity and decided to join up. So,
Damn, Unity super fan.
Wait,
are you a Unity stan?
fucking big time, yeah. Literally Unity stan.
Unitarian?
No, I'm Bones' guardian, legal guardian. I'm just a fucking proxy for Mr. Bones to listen in.
oh wow, wait, is Mr. Bones in the room with you right now?
Mr. Bones is literally curled up in my arms, listening to everyone and purring at the ones he likes.
Wow.
Mr. Bones. I miss
Mr.
you,
Bones.
Mr. Bones.
Well, he stopped purring.
No, he did not.
He left.
Yeah.
He fucking walked away.
No.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Oh
he
my
fucking
god, oh
jumped
my heart
on
is
my head.
broken.
He left. Sorry, man.
Okay, well, if Mr. Bones has left the building, I guess maybe that means it's the end.
Yeah, I think it's time to call it a night. I think Mr. Bones made the right call. I'll let you sign us off, Unity.
Okay, well, this has been really amazing. And I just want to thank everyone for coming. And that's it. So,
and thank you, Unity. Thank you so much. You're a lifesaver. You were wonderful. All the feedback you gave was fucking on point, fucking lucid, fucking beautiful. Thank you so much. And this is it. This has been Misery Loves Company. We do this every fucking week, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific. Thank you, Unity. Thank you, all of our readers. Fucking follow us on Twitter or whatever. I'm fucking done here. We're done.